It has been a year since Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico, and yet Puerto Rico is struggling to put the pieces back together. There was and still exists a web of disinformation, with many asking, why should America send aid to Puerto Rico? According to the New York Times, a poll by Morning Consult with 2,200 participants found only 54% of Americans in the States knew Puerto Ricans are United States citizens. Although they are American citizens, treatment has been akin to second-class citizenship. But guess what? Puerto Ricans are Americans too. Puerto Ricans became a U.S. territory after annexation after the Spanish-American War of 1898. In 1917, President Woodrow Wilson signed the Jones Act, which granted individuals born in Puerto Rico U.S. citizenship. While the Jones Act allowed for Puerto Ricans to oversee local affairs, it gave the President of the United States and the Governor of Puerto Rico the power to veto any legislation not in line with United States interests. Many Puerto Ricans see themselves as second-class citizens, a label used by San Juan Mayor Carmen Yulín Cruz while addressing the media during Hurricane Maria. Puerto Rico has no congressional representatives and therefore has no rights regarding legislation voted on. There is a delegate appointed by Puerto Ricans to fill what is called the resident commissioner seat. However, her role is limited, and Commissioner Jennifer Gonzalez Colon can only vote in committee and not on legislation. Although Puerto Ricans cannot vote if they live on the island, they can vote in federal elections if they choose to move to the mainland, what they call the United States. Many Americans wonder, why should the United States come to Puerto Rico's aid? Did you know Puerto Ricans pay taxes and as American citizens are entitled to receive aid? Those who work for the federal government pay income tax, and all Puerto Ricans pay the same taxes on the mainland, including payroll tax, Social Security, Medicare, import and export taxes, just to name a few. In fact, according to the IRS tax stats, Puerto Rico paid almost $3.5 billion in taxes in 2016. Due to their Commonwealth status, Puerto Rico is not eligible for financial bailout like U.S. states and cities. Again, the question, why should America come to Puerto Rico's aid during times of disaster? Not only do Puerto Ricans pay taxes, but Puerto Ricans have served our country faithfully and have been drafted into military service throughout the years. My Puerto Rican grandfather fought and died during the Korean War, and my uncle served during the Vietnam War. Yet still, after all of the years of faithful service to our country, Puerto Ricans are left with the resident commissioner who has no power in Congress and no way to vote for legislation or push a Puerto Rican agenda forward. This lends credence to the sentiment that Puerto Ricans are second-class citizens, and yet Puerto Ricans are Americans too.